Hey everybody, it's Dave here at Vinaka Urban Farm. I'm going to do another tour video today, farm tour video. It's getting toward the end of August and I haven't done one in over a month and time is really flying by. You might be able to tell from the rings under my eyes it's been a really busy time on the farm and in my life because I'm not just a full-time farmer, contrary to my wishes. So things have been busy and the farm is not as beautiful as it has been at different moments this summer, but that's part of the process, and to give you a really accurate view of what goes on here, I gotta include the not ideal as well as the ideal. So here's what the farm looks like today. Have a little time to walk around and let's just get it started. So basil wall's still growing. It's been part of my previous videos. I've made some comments on that, so I won't dwell on it. We've got some hanging gardens in the greenhouse. We've thinned those out a little bit. We went a little overboard on the hanging gardens and it kept light from falling on some other stuff in the greenhouse, so I've reduced the quantity of those. These two little trays are trays of lettuce seedlings. Believe it or not, there's 600 lettuce seedlings right there, and those will shortly go outside to start hardening off outside. Check this out, I didn't even notice this until just now, but these in this greenhouse we have a couple of trees growing in 5-gallon buckets. Don't have to be too fancy with your containers, at least if you're around here. And look at these guys right here. Those are kumquat flowers. So we could get some kumquat fruits this year. Got a few more over here. This kumquat tree has really exploded this year after some dubious first years. So that's super exciting. I'll keep you posted on that. Otherwise, in the greenhouse, let's see what else we got. We got some scorpion peppers growing up here. We noticed they really do a lot better in the greenhouse, even in kind of a small container, than they do outside. We've got a toppling over purple Oda pepper. So we've got some stuff, some veggies growing in here just for our own entertainment and food purposes. And let's go through the door to the outside. Raised bed is boasting some beets. Got a Brussels sprout, or maybe this is a cabbage, I think, kind of growing really well, which is not always the case with cabbages around here, so that's exciting. Got some kohlrabi, little baby kohlrabis coming out here. The sorrel looks gorgeous, looks straight out of like a prehistoric movie or something. Some more beets over here. In this raised bed, we've got a few carrots. Interspersed here, we've got some kohlrabi. Right down the middle, these kind of big leaves right here are parsnips, just one line of parsnips. So excited to have that. A few of these things are the first time we've grown them, so that's pretty exciting. Bull's blood beets are those big red leaves, some more sorrel. And we've got, this is a Brussels sprout plant right here. And that's another Brussels sprout here. So going into fall gardening. And this is a really exciting plant. These two right here, these are shiso, which is like an Asian leaf that they ate when I was in South Korea. I lived there for a few years, and they ate shiso, and they would take it and they'd wrap rice and some like fixins in it, and it's got a really like unique minty anise kind of like cool flavor that I love and that they love over there. Really good with sushi and wraps and rolls. And I sell it in microgreen form too, but it's cool to see the macrogreens growing as well. Over here, let's take a look at our leggy tomatoes. So I have thus far pruned off all the lower leaves for a variety of reasons. It makes the fruit easier to see, and it also keeps water from splashing up onto the lower leaves, which is kind of a disease vector in our wet climate. And another thing I've done by this point in the year is about a few weeks ago, I cut the tops off of each of these tomato plants, and I could have done it later, but honestly, the way I've set these tomatoes up is not the most easy to make them manageable growing vertically like this, and I kind of learned that halfway through the year. And so I went ahead and topped them a little early so that I can just get a harvest out of them. I still got probably 3 weeks of harvest left in there. It'll take me to the middle of December, and by that time I'll be tired of working around tomatoes, and I'll want more space, and I'll transplant things like spinach and other hardy fall greens into these spots. The intercropping of the tomatoes with some lettuce over here and some different kinds of lettuce over here continues to go well. underneath this insect netting or row cover, some baby kale that's growing all right over there. It's nice. Doesn't look like the flea beetles mauled it like they have previous crops. Over here, super exciting development this year is a ton of figs are ripening. We put these little tiny bags, they're called organza bags, around them because we've discovered that birds, I think, like to try and attack them. But as you can see by the number of the organza bags, we've got tons of ripe figs and ripening figs. It's pretty amazing. They stay at this size right here. So I've never had ripe figs before, so this is really exciting to have so many this year. But they stay at this little size, like thumb tip size, for like the entire summer. And then suddenly when they ripen, they get this big, which is like 2 or 3 times as big. That's not even the biggest fig we have here. Let's see if I can find an actually big one. Yeah, this one's really big right here. Oh, come on. Yeah. It's like 3 or 4 times, and that happens virtually overnight. So it's pretty amazing. It's pretty cool to watch the figs grow. It's cool to get to grow something out of season, just kind of by taking it inside and outside and using the greenhouse. But we got another fig over here. This is a white Marseille fig. The other one was called a Chicago Hardy fig. And they're both really delicious. We've already eaten lots of figs off of both of them. We still got lots to go, so that's super exciting. The yard is one of the things that's really suffered in this really busy period. I just don't have the time to mow it as regularly because other stuff is happening in life where my job's starting up again in earnest, and I just don't have time. But that's okay. Don't let perfect be the enemy of the good. Got a lovely bed of lettuce. I'm now able to grow this like kind of nicer, prettier, smaller leaved lettuce now that we're heading into a cooler season. I have to swap varieties. That's one thing I've learned this year as the temperatures change. So that's been a learning lesson. This hugelkultur has also been co-opted. We used to have potatoes here, but I harvested all the potatoes in midsummer and it had all this empty spot. So I figured, why not fill it up with more lettuce? I can almost always sell it. Another thing that's suffering this year is I'm not harvesting okra near frequently enough. You really have to kind of harvest it every day by midsummer because it grows so fast and you want to eat them small. So hopefully I'll have time soon to come and just cut those big ones out. They're not good for eating anymore because they're really tough when they get that big and woody. But I guess it's good to have things in abundance rather than the other way around. Got a little line of kale around the base of the hugelkultur. These African daisies have grown pretty well, but they haven't really bloomed as much as I wish. We got a good spot over here. But again, that's just part of the deal. And a solitary Brussels sprout that I had nowhere else to put, so I went ahead and put it there. Under this row cover over here is a sort of abundance of arugula. It's my favorite green, and it's growing super well under this insect cover, which is a huge bonus. A lot of people like arugula at the market, and I love it myself, so it's great to be able to grow it without a bunch of insect holes. Swiss chard's looking good. That's a great, dependable summer crop. We've got a little underneath the big tent kind of farm over here. We've got a variety of little tiny baby greens, so let me see if I can give you a little gander in here. We've got a lot of baby greens in here. A fourth of this is radish, a fourth of it is arugula, a fourth of it is baby kale, and a fourth of it is mustard greens. All of them benefit from the insect netting, so that's pretty cool. Speaking of mustard greens, got some more mature ones here. They're just gorgeous. And I really couldn't be much happier with the little experiment with insect netting that I was able to do this year, because flea beetles were a pretty big problem earlier on. And that's pretty much it for the backyard, although, a little bonus here, we've got some late coming raspberries coming in, so that's super exciting. And you can see some more over here too. I actually hadn't noticed those either. Lots of second harvest raspberries coming in. So that's it for the backyard. We'll move on to the front yard and I'll give you an update there. Catch you then.